CBC News, the world this hour. Good evening. I'm Kenny Sharp. Ahead of the NATO summit Wednesday in Brussels, U.S. President Donald Trump is again accusing NATO members of falling short on their payments to fund the pact. As Catherine Cullen reports, it could make for more awkward encounters between Trump and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
Make no mistake, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau wants to show off, flexing Canada's military muscle to counter this.
NATO has not treated us fairly, but I think we'll work something out.
But the Prime Minister is pushing back on that and fears Donald Trump's commitment to NATO is wavering.
NATO matters.
Trudeau announced Canadians would keep leading the NATO mission in Latvia until 2023. The aim, discouraging any possible Russian aggression. The U.S. president plans to meet one-on-one with Russia's president next week, and there are already concerns about where his favor lies. Back to NATO. Canada, along with other members, agreed to up defense spending, aiming for a goal of 2% of GDP by 2024.
More important metrics are always, do our countries stepping up consistently with the capacities that NATO needs.
And that puts the Prime Minister on a potential collision course with Trump when they meet tomorrow. Catherine Cullen, CBC News, Brussels.
Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister Chrystia Freeland and Minister of National Defence Harjit Sajjan are also in Brussels. A full day of talks and meetings scheduled for Wednesday. Then on Thursday, Justin Trudeau is set to meet with Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez, as well as speaking with delegates from Georgia and Ukraine. Huya is the cheer used by the Thai Navy SEALs. They're the team that coordinated and executed the rescue of the trapped soccer team. Against incredible odds, all 12 boys and their soccer coach have now been freed. 2 divers accompanied each boy, one holding the child close while the other followed behind, through sections some so narrow that rescuers had to take off their air tanks. The CBC's Briar Stewart is in Chiang Rai.
It began as soon as the last of the team reached the mouth of the cave that they faithfully entered 18 days ago. And the celebrations went well into the night. The final 4 boys and their coach made it out and were on the way to the hospital in less than 10 hours after the rescue began. The Thai Navy SEALs who had been with the team in the chamber followed shortly after. But even with the jubilation, never far from mind was Sergeant Sanangunan, the former Thai Navy SEAL who died after running out of oxygen. As for the team, after spending so long cramped together on a dry slab of rock, they're reunited again. They're all on the same floor of the hospital where they're in isolation for the time being. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Chiang Rai.
The world's largest humanitarian network is calling on governments to end mistreatment of refugees. In a report released on Tuesday, the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies says the shift in government policies towards restriction is creating a, quote, humanitarian crisis. The report is also calling for the removal of barriers preventing newcomers from obtaining food, healthcare, as well as barriers to legal services. Authorities in North Carolina have arrested 10 volunteer firefighters, accusing them of setting fire to abandoned buildings and woods. In a statement, Robeson County Sheriff Ken Seeley says they were involved in a conspiracy to set fires over the past 18 months. Together, they face 90 arson-related charges, with more expected. Seeley's statement does not cite a motive. And there is jubilation on the streets of Paris tonight as French soccer fans celebrate Tuesday's victory at the World Cup. Tens of thousands of people here cheering and lighting flares after France's 1-0 defeat of Belgium in their semi-final match in St. Petersburg Tuesday. France will appear in the final Sunday in Moscow against either England or Croatia. That semi-final meet scheduled for tomorrow. The French will be seeking the country's second World Cup title, having won it last back in Paris in 1998. And that is the world this hour. For CBC News, I'm Kenny Sharp.